One of the most important features of RhinoArtisan is that it is fully parametric. To better understand this concept, we'll start by creating a round gemstone of 1/2 carat. We'll add a basket setting to it. Each command in RhinoArtisan includes its own editable library of models. We can modify any of them and customize the design to our preference. There are countless parameters available to adjust. Once the basket is created, we can edit the shape of the gemstone, and it automatically adapts to the new form. But it doesn't stop there. Let's switch back to a round shape and also increase its size. The basket instantly adjusts to both the new shape and dimensions. Now let's look at a more complex example, a cluster setting. Before editing it, we'll also create a cathedral shank to complete our model. To do this, we go to the Shanks tab and click on the Cathedral command. With the full ring assembled, we can continue editing it as we like. We'll change the center stone to an oval shape, and the cluster automatically adjusts to match the new form. The shank is also editable. We can modify its parameters directly in the command panel or by using the gumballs, seeing all changes in real time. Once the design is ready, we can adjust the ring size, for example, changing it to a US size 10. The entire model automatically adapts to the new size. Another useful option is the ability to switch to manufacturing mode. This mode prepares the model for production by extending the prongs for the jeweler. At any moment, we can switch back to rendering mode and continue editing the model. Boutique is a catalog of ready-to-use models organized into collections, each containing different jewelry designs ready to use. Within these collections, we can find rings, earrings, pendants, and many other styles, all fully editable and adaptable to each customer's preference. This allows us to explore multiple design options directly within RhinoArtisan. Each model can be previewed in different metals, allowing us to visualize variations before applying them. All models can be added to the workspace with a single click. It is immediately placed in our working area. Let's edit one of the models. To do this, we open Boutique and select a collection, for example, Vintage. For this model, I want a yellow metal. We choose one of the models and click to add it to our workspace. Now that the model is loaded, we can change the center stone and see how the design automatically adapts to its new shape. Another important feature of Boutique is the ability to create custom collections. To do this, we simply create a folder containing our 3DM files, along with reference images for each model. Once everything is ready, we return to RhinoArtisan and open the Boutique panel. For each model, we can edit its information, such as the name, description, SKU, and price. Then, we save the information. If we want preview images to appear in Boutique, we can save both the model and its image using the exact same file name. That way, the previews will appear automatically when the models are uploaded. When we have all elements prepared, the cover image, collection folder, and the models with their images, we return to RhinoArtisan and use the Create in Boutique button to generate the new collection. Add a name and a description for the collection. Both will be displayed inside Boutique. The collection is automatically created and added to the Boutique panel. Let's check it. Enter Boutique, scroll down, and see our new collection ready to use. With just one click, we can add any of our models to the viewport, continue working on them, or present them directly to the client. Just like Boutique, the Components module is also organized into collections, but this time, they contain individual elements we can use to build our own models. We open Components, where we can see the different collections available: settings, shanks, findings, accessories, and more. Everything we need to create and customize jewelry models directly with the client. Let's explore some of these collections. When opening one, we can change the gemstones and preview the model in real time. We can also change the metal instantly. Each collection is editable and contains multiple models of different types. But Components is not limited to settings and shanks. We can also find findings to complete our models, such as bales, hearts, and many other decorative elements. Now, let's build our own design. We'll go to the Clusters collection and select a cluster setting in yellow gold. Our client wants to create a pendant, So we return to Components, open the bales collection, and choose the one they like best. Since the client prefers yellow gold, we select it and simply click on the chosen bale. The pendant is now ready. But the client also wants matching earrings. To create them, we add the same cluster setting again, then return to Components and open the Findings collection. This time, we'll choose an omega clasp. We change the metal to yellow gold to match the pendant and select omega clasp small. Now we have the complete set. But we still need the pair. To finish, we go to Rendering and create the pair. And that's it. We now have a full matching jewelry set ready for the client. Another useful command in RhinoArtisan is Profiles, which allows us to create a profile directly from a curve. This command can be used to generate different types of models. We can find it in the Accessories tab. Once selected, like many RhinoArtisan commands, Profiles also includes a fully editable library of preset profiles. We can select one from the library and start editing it right away. It's also possible to add new profiles to any part of the curve, and all of them remain fully editable. We can also delete profiles or duplicate them as needed. It's possible to open any of the profiles and edit them directly in the command panel, setting exact measurements as needed. Alternatively, they can be adjusted directly on the model using the gumballs for real-time control. In this example, we'll also extend the end cap to complete the shape. Once we're satisfied with the result, we simply click Accept. But it's not only possible to apply a profile to a single curve. We can also select multiple curves and apply profiles to all of them at the same time. Next, we could add gemstones and position them within the model. We could then create a basket or a bezel. And just like with Apply Style, we can apply these elements to different parts of the model. Let's now look at another example of how to use profiles. In this case, we'll create an advanced ring from a ring curve and use that curve as a base for the Profiles command. We go to the Accessories tab and apply Profiles to the curve. Then we apply a profile, in this case, number 008, which best fits our needs. We can edit it directly. We can also modify a profile and replace its curve, choosing one from the Asset selector or creating a new one manually. For this model, we'll set the width to 2 mm and the height to 3.06 mm. We can duplicate this profile and apply it to the opposite side to use the same parameters. Profiles can be placed in any area we need to control, as many as required. Each one can be edited and adjusted at any time, and they can also be moved along the curve to fine-tune the shape. From here, we can continue building the model as we like, creating a curve to position additional stones, and adding any cutters we need. With a Boolean operation, the model is completed. The Advanced Gems on Curve command allows us to position gemstones along curves in an advanced way, using gradients with different gemstone sizes. In this example, we have this model and need a curve to define the gemstone path. We go to the Curves tab and extract an isocurve from the model. This will serve as a guide for positioning the stones. As we can see, the curve follows the surface of the model precisely. Now, we go to the Diamonds tab and activate the Advanced Gems on Curve command. We select the curve and also assign an orientation surface. In the command panel, we define the parameters. For example, we'll set the distance between stones to 0.40 mm. We'll start with gemstones of size 1 and end with size 2.1, using a total of 15 stones. As we can see, the gemstones fit perfectly along the curve and adapt to the model's surface. Now, we'll create another gradient. We add a new section, this time ranging from size 2 to size 1, with 6 stones. We now have a second gradient, fully aligned to the model. We can create as many gradients as we need, as well as different gemstone alignments. For example, we'll switch the alignment to top, since we'll use cutters next to finalize the model. To do this, we open the Microsetting command and add all the gemstones. Once added, we activate the desired cutters. We enable them all and confirm. The model is now complete, with all stones and cutters precisely applied. If we need the pair, we simply go to Rendering and create it from there using the Pair command. This workflow allows us to create complex gemstone layouts quickly and accurately, directly on any surface. The Gems by Circle command allows us to create gemstones directly from circles, making the positioning process faster and more precise. In this example, we'll start by flowing a series of circles onto another surface. To do this, we use the Quick Flow Surface command. We add the base surface and the target surface, then select the circles as rigid objects. As we can see, they are projected accurately across the surface. Now, we go to the Diamonds tab and activate the Gems by Circle command. We select the circles to which we want to apply the command, and all gemstones are automatically created and positioned correctly. This method allows us to design more complex models with gemstones distributed precisely across the surface. We can also assign specific sizes to each gemstone. To do this, we can use the Gems Info command, also located in the Diamonds tab. Simply activate the command and select the gemstones. If we click Yes, the size labels of the selected stones are displayed in different colors, making it easier to identify and locate gemstones of the same size. If we click No, all sizes are displayed in a single color. The Gems on Network command allows us to position multiple gemstones along a series of curves. To begin, we activate the command and add the desired curves. All gemstones are automatically distributed along the selected curves. But that's not all. We can edit the size of any gemstone. For example, we'll change this one to 1.5 millimeters, and the system automatically creates a smooth gradient, adapting all other stones accordingly. Once the layout is ready, we confirm to generate the final result. If we want to create prongs, we simply open the Dynamic Prongs command and select all the gemstones. We set the desired prong parameters and then generate them automatically. We confirm, and the model is fully completed, ready for the next step. The Automatic Pavé command allows us to position gemstones automatically across a surface. In this example, we'll use this pendant, and the first step is to create a few reference stones. Once that's done, we activate the Automatic Pavé command. We add the surface, then select and add the reference gemstones. As we can see, they are now included in the command. Next, we can select the gemstones and set them as locked stones. They'll turn gray, indicating that their positions won't change during the computation. In the panel, we can add different gemstone sizes. These sizes define the gemstones that the command will use during placement. It will start with the largest stones and gradually fill the remaining space with smaller ones. Since we want a symmetrical layout, we enable the Symmetry option. Now, we simply click Generate Automatic Pavé. The command begins to calculate and distribute the stone symmetrically across the surface. At any point, we can make adjustments. For example, select a stone and increase its size or move it. If a stone turns red, it means it's intersecting with others. But by clicking Recompute, the system automatically adjusts their positions. We can also remove any gemstones that we don't need. Once the layout looks correct, we move to the Prongs tab. Here, we define the prong parameters and click Create Automatic Prongs. The program calculates and adds all the prongs automatically. As with the gemstones, we can also add or remove prongs manually and adjust their sizes as needed. Next, we go to the Cutters tab, select the preferred cutter type, and click Show to generate it. When everything is ready, we confirm the command. Finally, we perform a Boolean difference, and our model is complete. The 3D Texture command allows us to apply textures directly onto surfaces. To begin, we go to the Accessories tab and activate the 3D Texture command. Inside the panel, we find a selection of textures. By clicking on the texture slot, we open a library of ready-to-use materials. Next to it, we have another panel, where we can select and manage the texture we want to apply. For example, we'll add this texture to the panel, and a preview will appear showing black and white areas. The white areas represent the regions that will rise or emboss, while the black areas will remain at the base level, or vice versa, depending on the settings. We control this effect through the height parameter. We can also adjust the repetitions to control the density and scale of the texture. Once the parameters are set, we click Compute to generate and preview the result in real time. We can easily switch between different textures, for example, this one. For this model, we'll select the hammered texture and confirm. The texture is then applied to the surface. We switch the display mode to rendered to better visualize how the hammered effect appears on the metal surface. Let's look at another example. Here we have a more organic model, and we want to apply a custom texture. To do this, we go to the User folder, located under the Files tab, and open the 3D Textures directory. Here, we can add any custom textures we want to use. In this case, we've created a custom dragon texture. We return to RhinoArtisan and, just like before, open the 3D Texture command from the Accessories tab. We select the surface and open the texture panel, then load our custom texture. Now, we'll adjust the parameters. As we can see, the dragon texture should be rotated by 90 degrees. To fix this, we set the rotation to 90 degrees, and the texture is now properly aligned. We can also adjust the height, for example to 0.30 millimeters. If we want to increase the number of texture repetitions, we can do that as well. For this model, we'll set the view size to 2 and the U size to 1. A height of 0.30 seems a bit too pronounced, so we'll reduce it to 0.15, which gives a smoother and more refined finish for this design. Finally, we confirm the command. And if we switch to a yellow metal, we can clearly see how the texture is perfectly applied across the model's surface. The Breakdown Details panel, located under the Files tab, allows the user to view all cost-related data of the current model, including the metal and gemstone prices, process costs, and other detailed parameters. To generate this breakdown, we first go to the Manufacturing tab and open Breakdown Settings. Here, we fill in all the necessary fields, such as general information, market prices, and other production data. The provided link gives access to the latest metal prices from the LBMA market, ensuring accurate, up-to-date cost references. Next, we enter details related to gemstones, printing, casting, finishing and polishing, additional processes, stone settings, and timing. Once all the information has been filled in, we return to the Files tab and click on the Breakdown Details panel. We press Create, and RhinoArtisan automatically generates all pricing data and the total cost of the piece based on the information entered in Breakdown Settings. This includes the total price, the cost of metals and gemstones, and all processes that have been added. We can then open the Report panel to enter additional information related to the model or client. Using the More button, we can add extra fields if needed. After that, we can choose from the preset templates provided by RhinoArtisan, or create our own custom templates, and simply click Create. RhinoArtisan then generates a complete report with all model information. As mentioned, each template is fully editable, allowing you to adapt it to the needs of each client. This is the Render and Animation panel. Here we can find all the resources needed to create rendered images and animated videos from our designs. In this example, we'll start with a finished piece composed of 2 rings. We switch the display mode to Ray Traced, and we can see that the model currently has no materials applied. To apply a material, we simply drag and drop it onto the object. Next, we move to the Gem Materials tab and apply the diamond material to the gemstones. We then change the ground material by clicking on one of the options in the Ground tab. To adjust the lighting and reflections, we double-click on an environment to apply it to the scene. Finally, we open the Render Settings tab. We set the resolution, confirm the quality settings, and click Render. The render begins to compute, and once completed, we can see the final image, with all materials, lighting, and reflections accurately displayed.